This is a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the New York Fire Department Pension Fund and New York Fire Department Life Insurance Fund. March 22nd, 2017. It is now 1 minute after 10. Fire Department Headquarters, 9 Metro Tech, Brooklyn, New York, room 8S7. Roll call, Trustees. Steve?
Yes. Mr. John Abbott.
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. John Dorset.
Present.
Mr. Philip Duke.
Here.
There you go. UFA President. Here. Clark Fitzgerald.
Present.
Eddie Brown.
Here.
John Kelly.
He's here.
John Kelly's here, just stepped out. Mr. Jack Kelty.
Here.
Mr. John Farina.
Here.
Mr. Paul Farrow.
Here.
Mr. Thomas Faley.
Here.
Commissioner Doug White.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. So the first thing we should do is approval of minutes. The regular meeting minutes of February 22nd, 2017. You have a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Any objections?
Who's second?
Who seconded?
Fitzgerald.
No objections, the motion carries. We have several investment meeting minutes. April 20th, 2016, public session, part 1 and 2, executive session presentations and summary.
So moved. Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. The next meeting is June 15th, 2016, public session, parts 1 and 2, executive session, presentation and summary.
So moved. Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Finally, September 21, 2016, and February 15, 2017.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay. So, sorry?
Yeah, he
I didn't vote together. The first thing is a report and from the actuary, A for actuary, I might note. So maybe the floor is yours.
Thank you. So my office calculated the preliminary 2018 employer contributions, and that came out to be $1,200,417,417,417,052. This represents an increase about $139 million from the preliminary 2017 employer contribution. The majority of that was due to a new methodology in calculating the special accidental death benefit, and that was about $100 million of the $139 million. The rest,
Carrie.
yes.
New methodology?
Yes, so what was occurring was that for the special accidental death benefit, SADB, the state was reimbursing the city, was supposed to be reimbursing the city for half of it, but I think around 2009, 2010, 2011 timeframe, they started to cap their reimbursement at a fixed amount, and so the city wasn't getting the full reimbursement. And in the past, the liability was only valued for the portion that the city was supposedly attributed, or was supposed to be on the books for. But because the state didn't reimburse the city for all of it, we're now accounting for all of the liability. And the portion that the state is refunding to the city is going to be hit on the asset side.
I'm sorry, refunding to the
It's a little
city is
hard.
going to be
You have a
what
kind of low
assets?
voice.
It's going to be reflected on the asset side.
Okay.
So, because the state isn't paying all of it, that is why the employer contribution increased about 100 of the 139 million. And the rest is due
100 over?
100 of the 139 million. And the rest is due to differences in the experience, the differences between what actually happened and what was assumed, and that was less than 1%, or was that 0.8%? So the assumptions are pretty good.
Did the state used to pay it all?
So the amount that they needed to reimburse grew over time. So they're supposed to pay a set 50%, but once they reached a cap, they stopped paying over that cap. So because the amount grows, they're not really reimbursing 50% what they're supposed to.
And that's pursuant to state legislation that there's a cap?
No.
I've had occasion to look into this,
Yeah.
so in the law 208-F, genuine law
I'm
208-F.
sorry?
Oh, sorry.
In what?
The special accidental death benefit is provided for in the general municipal law, section 208-F. There is a subdivision of that law, which I cannot recall off the top of my head, that basically says the state shall provide for the cost of the special accidental death benefit, which is really only 50% of the cost because the special accidental death benefit is over and above death benefits already provided for in the ad code for those who die in line of duty. So the way it has been working in recent years, sorry, I just to finish the explanation. The way it's been working in recent years is there's this mandate in the law that the state reimburse 50% of it, but they've been, in the course of the budgetary process, when undertaking budget legislation, have written a clause, basically, that says, notwithstanding any other law to the contrary, the state shall reimburse X amount for special accidental death benefits. And because the budget legislation is a coordinate law with 208F, that supersedes the otherwise pre-existing obligation to pay back half of it. So basically they say, oh yeah, we've got this obligation, but they just pass a law on a yearly basis saying, never mind that obligation, we're only paying back X amount. Though, as a technical matter, until that budget is passed every year, the state has an obligation to pay 50% of it. It's just that since they have the control over the legislation that's passed, they can modify that in the budgetary legislation fairly easily if they so choose.
Because, we are seeing a trend that they aren't reimbursing, the 50%. I felt it's appropriate to start incorporating that into the liabilities.
Mhm. And so just so I understand, because I'm a little slow, so what you're doing is you're putting a full liability into the, on the liability side, and you're putting whatever the state reimbursement is
Right.
into the asset side.
Right. So, just to give you a little background, in the past, we accounted for 50% of the liability on the liability side because we assumed the other 50% was going to be reimbursed. Now we're assuming 100% of the liability on the liability side, and then the state, if they pay us 50%, it would be reflected in the asset side. So if everything worked out the way it should be, it shouldn't have been a gain or a loss. It should have been the
Except that
same.
they aren't making a full contribution
I'm
and
sorry.
haven't. The state is not making a full contribution and has not for, it sounds like, quite a few years.
Right,
And so now you're truing it up,
yes.
and that's where the 100 million
Yes.
extra comes from.
So it's not that the state is shortchanging the fund $100 million, that's the liability of the whole thing, right?
They are
They are
shortchanging it because
But isn't that
if they
offset on the asset side, or aren't they,
that's the part that's not offset,
that's not?
yeah.
Yeah, because the state's just not following through. They're just not paying the amount that the law says they should pay. They're changing the law effectively on a yearly basis to make their obligation less through the budgetary process.
Any other questions on this? Are there any other questions on this?
That money's not, it's not a budget item, it's in the state's budget, it's not a...
No, that's how it works. They
Yeah.
make it a budget item and say, notwithstanding any other law, we're paying this amount as part of the state budget process. That's the way it's worked in recent years. If they didn't do anything, if they didn't have any such law in the budget, 208F would otherwise provide that they would have to pay back the 50% in full. And that's the way it had worked for a number of years. Why the change, I have no idea. But, it's effectively using the fact that the budget is legislation to override otherwise applicable legislation providing for full reimbursement of the 1%.
So now, is it gonna continue to be like that, or are we gonna keep getting,
Well, if
short?
the state pays what they're supposed to pay,
If
it
they-
will net to zero because it will be reflected on the asset side. And then and so when you calculate your unfunded liability is basically any liability you have offset by the assets. That's a portion of the liability that's unfunded. So if it's reflected on both sides, you know, A minus B, if A equals B, it's going to be zero.
But it's not, you're saying the
Right.
state's not fulfilling
Right.
their obligation.
Right.
So eventually, we're gonna be short a lot of money if it keeps going,
Well,
right?
she's now putting this into the employer contribution, but I appreciate knowing about it because I will, you know, bring it to City Hall's attention because I've never heard about it before.
I mean, I've talked about it
Yeah,
extensively.
so OMB
with
knows.
OMB.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
they're quite aware,
Yeah, they know about it.
yeah.
Good news. Good
Do you mean
news.
they know about it, they can't get the governor to put it in there?
Yeah, it first came up as, I think, a GASB issue, right? Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and now it's more a substantive issue.
It was an accounting issue.
Has OMB ever asked the state to pay this amount? Specifically, have they offered them a request? You owe us this money.
This OMB's relationship with the state is not something that I know very much about. That they ask the state for lots of money for lots of
Oh,
things.
I understand, but if they know about this, but nobody's asked them to pay specifically this
Steve,
amount of
I
money.
imagine that they have asked.
I would imagine
I mean-
too, John, but it's a fair question, right?
All right, sure, and I will be happy to relay that question.
It is
to
a great
OMB.
concern to OMB. They're extremely unhappy about it. It's not something that people are just, you know, oh welling. You know, no one is happy about this arrangement, but the state has all the power because they can override their own legislation.
I completely understand, but there's a lot of people in this room who can lobby on behalf of this to happen. And
Sure, by all
And there are
means.
other
I mean,
issues too. that they should-
Go to it.
By all
It
means.
sounds like Sherry has a whole list of things you guys can dig into.
Is there any more on this point? We don't have to have a resolution on this, but I would have.
Yeah, there
You
is
want a
a-
resolution? Okay.
Can I just ask what the remaining 39 million is
It's,
for the increase?
a portion of it is due to changes in the deviation between actual assumptions versus what happened, what really happened. So gain loss, and there was a bit of it, 34 million, I'm sorry, 34, 18.5 million of it was attributed to increase in the UAL amortization. When Bob had changed the funding method from frozen initial liability to entry age normal, which is what we currently
Frozen
use.
initial.
Frozen initial liability funding method to entry age normal funding method. When he changed that, I think it was around 2012.
Yes.
There was some liability because of the change in funding method. And the way that that liability is funded over time, it's not a fixed dollar amount per year. It increases 3% each year.
That specific initial liability when the reset happened, you're saying, in
Yes.
2012?
Yes, the way that the amortization methodology for that, it's built in that it increases 3% per year.
Okay. So that's, okay, fine, got it. Thank
But
you.
on the assumption side, the gain loss is 0.8%, so it's, the assumptions are working pretty well.
Okay.
I got one more question.
Yes.
How long has this been going on for?
Which one?
That the state's not, you know, anti.
I want to say like 2011 timeframe, I would say.
That seems roughly accurate.
Yeah.
I can't recall right now. Sorry, I didn't realize that this was going to be an active topic here today. But that sounds about right, 2011.
Since it just became an active topic, is there do you have something written that you could hand out to the trustees to kind of just to summarize where we're at? I mean, I'm sure if it's coming up today that people that are affiliated with our trustees here may have questions that we may have to convey to other folks in my shop or other folks at the unions. Do you have
I mean,
a
I'm
one
pretty
page?
sure, like,
You have a
in
one
the-
pager? I mean, I'm just asking.
The CAFR that we issued last year, that Scott
Oh.
Swigger
Yeah, I
signed.
think that's what that would be.
Yeah,
a good
there's some
source.
explanation in there.
Okay.
And
So, I mean,
numbers
that-
for all 5 systems.
That's great, I mean, if we could just point to that,
So-
point to that.
So
So
it's
it's,
throughout the whole 5 systems, it's just not.
Well, the ones that have the SADB benefit.
So I think that's just police and fire, right?
yeah.
It might be that the other
I don't know
uniforms
the
have it.
corrections
Do
have
the
it.
corrections have it?
Yeah, it's NICER's,
Oh, it
police
is
and fire.
nice. Okay.
NICER's has it across the board? or
No,
just
it's a,
for-
It's, yeah, it's a
Correct.
uniform.
So now.
You gotta go one at a time. It's impossible.
Can't follow everybody.
It's impossible for her to listen to multiple conversations. It's just impossible. All you gotta do
I
is
can
look
do
at
it, why can't she do it?
Switch roles.
So,
Don't you
any
guys
other
stop?
questions
I
about
have a
this?
question. So Sherry, when I go back to talk to the president, what should I tell him?
About the SADB.
Yeah, to make it
Um,
simple.
So the state should be reimbursing 50% of the liability, and they have not. They've capped their reimbursement. And now we're accounting for, the city is accounting for the portion that the state hasn't been reimbursing us for.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? So, need a resolution, okay? There's a motion to adopt the recommendations of the actuary.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the recommendations of our illustrious actuary, Sherry Kent.
Do we have a second?
Second. Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, item.
Can I make a couple?
Oh, yes, go ahead. Yeah.
I just have a couple of quick announcements, one of which is the annual statement my office calculated for the fire pension fund. And that was issued, that was sent to the fund, the pension fund end of last month, if you guys are interested in looking at that. And also, I certified the fire life insurance valuation report. A copy should have been distributed to the board, I think. If not, we can get that to you. The fund is looking pretty good, and I'll probably be circling back to the board to discuss about some benefit increases or premium decreases. And there's more discussions that need to take place before I have a formal recommendation. But it looks that the new benefits or the new premiums could probably go into effect July 1st of this year.
Great.
And Sherry, could you have your office people send it to me? Because sometimes I don't
We
get
can
it.
resend it.
They're
Send it to you.
sent to the chief accountant, but.
The
we're-
fire life insurance fund was sent, I think, to you, but I can send it again.
Please do.
Okay. We're on the agenda. B, the board is requested to approve maximum pension allowance payments to retired members without an option selection, 18 cases listed.
So moved. Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. C, the board is requested to approve refund of annuity savings account excess to improved benefit plan members, 45 cases listed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. D, the board is requested to approve applications for return of accumulated deduction/contributions due to termination, 1 case listed.
So moved.
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. E, the board is requested to approve application for return of accumulated deductions in the lump sum amount of $486.70 to Mrs. Catherine Ventriglia, widow and designated beneficiary of deceased firefighter Robert Ventriglia.
So moved. Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries.
Doug,
Yeah.
there's a typo in the next one, just.
Yeah, we
okay,
are
you got it?
correcting it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Ventriglia.
It's the
I got
same.
it. F, the board is requested to approve application for return of increased take-home pay in the lump sum amount of $3,017.90 to Mrs. Catherine Ventriglia.
No, it's a mistake. It's a typo. Ventriglia is the correct name.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I wasn't corrected on yours, it was corrected on mine, just a few minutes ago. Widow and designated beneficiary of deceased firefighter Robert Ventriglia.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. G, The board is requested to approve application for transfer of members' accumulated deductions to New York City employees retirement system. 3 cases listed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. H, the board is requested to approve advance payments to retirees entered on the fund's February 2017 payroll. 44 cases listed.
So moved.
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. I, the board is requested to approve payments to physicians of Subchapter 2 Medical Board.
So moved.
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. J, the board is requested to approve payments due Fink and Cardy reporting and video.
So moved.
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. K, the board is requested to approve payments due Mechanical Secretary, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay. The motion to move out of the public session to the fire department life insurance fund.
So moved. Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. These two.
Yeah, we'll say like, no, that's the follow thing.
Okay. The roll call of trustees remains the same. The board is requested to approve each application of $8,500 of life insurance benefits from beneficiary of deceased active members, 1 case listed.
So moved.
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. B, the board is requested to approve each application of $6,000 of life insurance benefits from beneficiaries of deceased retired members, 48 cases listed.
So moved.
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Move that one.
Moving to the executive.
Yeah.
Oh.
Motion to move out of the life insurance fund into executive session for the purposes of deciding disability cases.
So moved.
Second.
You want lawyers to,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is, so, it's not on off yet. She didn't transfer.
John.
She did.
Those are the,
What's this first thing? What's that thing?
those are the list of cases.
That's all, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay. You can turn the cameras off, please. Let's go.
Lawyers.